Allah, umdali wetu Allah.
Very, very important. Very, very important, because now you are igniting, and you're poking a lot of things now. Of many of the conversations that we might have had that are very important in highlighting all of these issues. There's a Sheikh, rahimahullah as well, Sheikh Yusuf Al-Qardawi. He visited South Africa twice, if I'm not mistaken, meaning twice when he visited South Africa was there.
Right.
And he spoke about the contemporary fiqh.
Right.
Maybe this fiqh, the fiqh topic needs to have its own segment in where how do we dissect it. And with, of course, the people that are they have expertise in the field of fiqh, because it's not everybody that might have those expertise in fiqh. To say there are some of the issues that are there. There are some that are very light. There are some which are very in-depth, if you go into the intricate issues of the fiqh. But those that are contemporary, I think, we should have been in the position whereby we have adjusted long time ago,
yes.
Because I said we are equally different with different nationalities and races here in South Africa. We are equal, but we are different. Different stroke for different folks.
Right.
You can never impose what your society conforms to in my society. And maybe this also will be very good, because our next assignment would be the issue of ubungoma. We will go into those issues and understand them very well, and ask people also that who are expertise in those things. Sometimes topic and you need to ask the people, all of those things, because we have immensely and beautifully we have done the issue of ilobola. Now we have to go now and start becoming useful to our people.
Yes.
Arabic all of the time, which is a beautiful thing. Concentrate on Arabic syntax and morphology and things like that, and really tackle issues that are very important within our community and society. Now, something that actually leads to that. Islam in South Africa, when we spoke to Monana Mthokozis as well, maybe you might highlight, I'm mentioning him because we spoke on this issue as well. The Islam that is institutionalized in South Africa, there's many institutions that are there. But more than anything, you find what actually makes Islam not to thrive in South Africa sometimes within the indigenous community is the lack of finances. And that's the reality.
Right.
Our economic imbalances that are here in South Africa, given the unemployment and things like that. So you will have that person that, hires the piper. So he'll be the one that calls the shots,
right?
Because he pays you. But there's been strides of many other communities outside of South Africa that extended a hand to say, how do we then assist as a global community to our brothers in Islam? Because I always say there's a difference between your money as a black person, your money as an Arab, your money as an Indian person, your money as a Malay person, and the money of Muslims. Because normally people have been accused so many times of saying, we are crying for the zakat that black people do not fork out. But this is the money that comes from different societies. If it's your money, if it's Indian money, if it's Arab money, keep it. But if it's an Islamic money, we need to discuss it, because zakat, it is the right of every Muslim.
Right.
Any kind of charity is there to uplift and better Islam in where we are. Here you are now, from being the Amir of Tshwane. Now you are coming in as the president of Muhammad VI Foundation. Muhammad VI Foundation, what was the foundation's purpose, and how did your election come about?
All right, so I think it was back in 26, maybe even, I'm not sure of the dates. However, I traveled to Morocco. It was very interesting how it turned out. So I traveled to Morocco, and I was there on business. And while I was in Morocco, there's two of great scholars in the country. One of them is Sheikh Fakhruddin Owaisi, and the next was Sheikh Shu'aib Ahmed, one of my teachers in Hadith. So while I was in Morocco, of course, these two giants I've just mentioned, they are global citizens.
Oh, yes.
I mean, they all over, they're great people. And they got a call from the institution, the Muhammad the Sixth Foundation of African Scholars, and they were asked that, they were told actually that there's this African Ulama foundation that the King of Morocco has established, and so they are looking at venturing into all the other countries, and in South Africa, of course, being part of Africa, it was also part of the project. And so they wanted to know who would be the best person to speak to and to approach, and then of course they highlighted their, you'd say, tenants.
Yes.
It was that it needs to be the Ashari or Maturidi Aqidah, the fiqh of Imam Malik in particular, but they were not limiting it
Oh, yeah.
to the Maliki madhab, and the tasawwuf is
Yes.
part of the package. And without thinking twice, both scholars, when they were called in different times by different people, and they said, you know what you are asking us about, the person is currently in Morocco.
Wow.
And so I got a call while I was in Morocco
Yes.
to say, hey, listen, we know you are here on business. I was there for a month or two. And they said, listen, we know you are here on another thing, but we need you. We need to discuss something. And of course, I mean, then they sent them some of the books that I've written or translated of the Maliki Madhab into the English language in some of the books, so my articles in Tasawwuf and Aqidah. So eventually, immediately, the Moroccans were like, this is the person.
Yes, you just fit the criteria.
And I was, fortunate for them, I was in the country. So it wasn't a matter of me flying. I was already in Casablanca. I just had to drive down to Fez. And I met them and I was honored. And I mean, of course, then they highlighted what the whole thing was all about. And it was to enhance scholarship in Africa. They felt that the scholarship in Africa is overlooked. And, we spoke about it on a micro level, me and you earlier, how our ulama
Yes.
are not up there,
Yes.
So the foundation also felt with we have great scholars in Africa that, when you speak about them, even the Maulanas here, they don't even know about them. You speak about Ahmed Bamba. Who's Ahmed Bamba?
Yes.
I mean, you can't be a scholar and not know. Let me qualify my statement.
Yes.
You can't be a scholar in Africa and not know who Ahmed Bamba is.
Yes.
It just doesn't work.
Or Sheikh Ibrahim Danfodio.
Ibrahim Danfodio. There's no way.
And his brother also, Ibrahim Bilo.
You cannot be an African scholar and not know Sheikh Ibrahim Nias.
Sheikh Ibrahim Nias.
You don't have to be a person in Tasawwuf. You don't have to
Yes.
be Tijani. You don't have to be Shadhili. You don't have to be, in their turuq, their spiritual journey. But they are scholars in their own right.
Correct.
So you cannot be a scholar in Africa and not know these giants. Ahmed Baba, who was another
Yes.
one. There's a lot of these scholars that are not appreciated. So the foundation was more about trying to highlight and bring out these scholars,
Yes.
the Mauritanian scholars, and it was a great initiative. I participated. I was the president. I was elected. Let me put it like this. I was earmarked as the president by the Moroccans.
Okay.
And when I came back home, I started doing groundwork, and there was a number of scholars, very distinguished scholars, whether from the MJC, from the anyone within who understood that the pillars here were Ashrit, Maturid, Aqidah, Fiqh, Malik, but of course the four schools were also included. And the tariqah was not a particular tariqah. It's just a spiritual journey of tasawwuf, whichever tasawwuf path. So we started doing groundwork with a few other scholars that were also, their names were mentioned to the Moroccans, and then I was elected again. I didn't.
Oh, yes.
Again, it was one of those. I think it was one of those where, because I was already there with the people, they just felt I was more fit to lead this organization since I've been. It was a good experience, having to meet scholars from all over Africa, interact with the great giants whose names are nowhere to be seen. You've never heard of any of them, in whether it's in they're not on the internet, but they're doing great work.
Yes.
They're doing great work. The Mufti of Chad,
Yes.
the Muhammad Noor, who you've met yourself. Great giants who are doing outstanding work, and yet they are sitting in their corners. I was there for, I think, about 2 years. It didn't take the direction that I had anticipated.
Oh, yeah.
It just started becoming another South African, without me mentioning names.
Yes.
It became
Yes.
just another South African organization as we know them. Very elite, not inclusive of other races to an extent of balancing the scales. And sometimes black people, we are our own enemies. The problem of the black man, he wants himself. He wants to be the only one on top.
Yes.
All the perks, he needs to be the only one that benefits. He never wants to open it up to everyone else. When it does, it needs to be with yena uyakzama.
Yes.
To come in here. So you must toe the line yourself,
Yes.
So when I started seeing tendencies of such a nature, and also some racism that started happening in there, I decided to pull out.
Didn't you have the powers as the Amir, as the leader, to change things? And because I would think to myself that you have been given the authority,
Right.
and you're the one that might also give opportunities and drive this organization, Muhammad the Sixth Foundation, into the direction that you want, that it must be inclusive, as well as highlight what it needed more of an African scholarship, and maybe to play that major role in changing the life of many that have traversed and gone through this the development of Islam. Didn't you have that authority?
With these, that's why you have to love and respect the authority, how it was in the past. This democracy has killed a lot of democracy doesn't work anywhere in the world. We glorify it, or well, they glorify it as a system that works, but this thing of having to vote everything is a problem.
We're happy Ibrahim Traore has cancelled it.
Yeah. I mean, he's doing exactly what we spoke about, trying to get rid of a system that was designed to keep them down.
Correct.
The elections are controlled, but let's not go there.
Yes.
But my ability as the Amir, as the chairperson of the foundation, I think I did to a certain extent. I was able to balance the racial representation, but you'll always have people within the structures
Yes.
that are very, very opposed to this inclusion.
Oh, yeah.
You will have some of them, unfortunately, they become your own brothers. Some of them become your own brothers. Hey, as in, we need to change this thing, Asiyeni sobatshela. Mawukhuluma laphana kuba ngathi you are the troublemaker. Aw, abantu sebathulile man. What happened? Sisifomile musliski.
Yes.
So now all of a sudden, when it's time to actually you are voted against.
Yes.
You are voted against, and it becomes very very painful. The pain I can endure is when it's the other person, the racist person, just being a blabber and being negative. That I can deal with.
Yes.
the pain that is very difficult to deal with is when your own people are the very same people who are blocking the other people.
Yes.
That is what that I just did not, I couldn't take that. Where you would speak and say, let's empower our people. Let us put them into this prestigious organization, because they will never be in MJC. And I'm gonna name drop now.
Yeah.
These people, whatever Molan, I don't care with whatever quality, he will never be a significant part of MJC.
Yes.
He will never be a significant part of Jamiat. He
Yes.
will never be a significant part of, what's this new one?
Uksa.
Or what's this? Mufti
Wifaq.
Wifaq.
Yes.
I don't care what flying colors he passed the madrasah. He will never lead that organization.
Yes.
Here now we are given a platform to enhance the scholarship of our brothers. Now, there's no racial, there's no history, there's no anything. You come in, you act, and you are given tools and resources.
Yes.
But some of your brothers will say, no, not yet. Not yet. As pushing not yet. Don't include. Then, of course, like I say, then you have internal racism and things like that. And I have zero tolerance for racism.
Did you step down from this position, and what was maybe the notable maybe achievements, or maybe your experience during the presidency, and what led to your decision, maybe if you did step down from it?
Stepping down, I wouldn't say step down. So it came to a point that, of course, we needed to elect
Yes.
a new president. But of course, part of that drive was because of what I'm trying to do.
Oh.
That's why now all of a sudden it's like change. We need to make an election. You understand? Because lo muntu ufuna change lezinto.
Yes.
So let's quickly intervene.
Remove him.
Yeah, let's remove him quickly. So then I was given another role there, which Yobu Treasury. That's not my field.
Oh, yes.
I as malini ngikhona ukubamba yami iphele imali.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
imali zabantu ngiyasaba. So I decided to just step away because clearly I was not seeing the direction. I mean, it's been active for how long? You know about it. What has it done for our people? If you're going to tell me about giving in charity, our Indian communities are doing that massively. So they are doing great work. And I mean, there's nothing, I'm not belittling
Yes.
the foundation's effort towards, enhancing the community. However, I mean, that's already happening. Can we do something unique? Can we take some of our people and get them into schools in Timbuktu? Can we get them into schools in, that collaboration? I haven't seen it happen.
What would you have loved to see the foundation do that would have changed the life of maybe the African scholars within the South African context?
I would have loved for it to do, and this was one of my, not because, and every time I say this, they say it's because of my Maliki Madhab biasness, with West Africa. But I would have loved to see some of our students go up North Africa and realize Uti, Deen is not restricted to the Diobandi outlook, to the Cape Malay outlook, because that's what we are exposed to in South Africa. Unfortunately, that's, you are either exposed to the Diobandi, or now, of course, with the advent of the Salafi movement, this is all our people know. If they're going to any institution, this is all they know, and this becomes the only thing that they can propagate, because they can't propagate what they don't know. We can't blame this one youngster who goes to Saudi, studies and qualifies and comes here and say everything is shirk, haram and bid'ah.
Yes.
Because that's what he's taught there. He can't teach what he doesn't have.
Yes.
But if you had to take them up north and let them see, you can be a scholar and be part of the community and be be an ocean of knowledge, but yet not be a person who's always delivering a khutbah and whatnot, because that's what we have restricted the scholarship, Tina. As soon as umuntu qualifies, he wants to vent all the things that he studied, and he steps on people's toes at the same time, because I'm not tact also. There's no fatana in how you deliver and understand. You are dealing with people who are druggies, alcoholics, people in zina. Omunye nje uzile lapha emasjid but ufasile emkhukhwini wakhe. You understand? How do you deal with such people? A person comes and he wants to become Muslim and uza ufasile. So kwenzakaleni manje? And sometimes banomntwana yena nalosesi lo. So kwenzakalani now? So all these things are things that are unique to us, but they, I would have loved for that interchange of some of our youngsters spreading throughout Africa and coming back with a system that is not opposed. Every time you say this, Kubangati, you are fighting with the system of the Indians. No, it's working for the Indians.
Yes.
You cannot take that away from them.
Yes.
The system is working, and it has been working ever since their great-grandfathers established it. It's working like for them.
Hence, they are still living under that system.
Exactly. And you
can't change what works.
No, you can't change. Why should we change what works? And this is a problem. Sometimes the black man, he gets so angry. Then you want to uyula with the brothers, our Indian brothers, to change the system. Why? It's working.
Yes.
Abantwana baya esikoleni, entambama bayabuya baya madrasah, ini gliwa makarikeshi yini. And it's working. The system is working.
Yes.
What we need to do is we need to make our own system that works in Makas.
Yes.
But what do we find? Same system, the replica of what's happening in the Indian community. We think somehow it's going to work.
Yes.
And sometimes it's just an egg in our face.
It is very sad that we're still discussing this kind of issues.
It's very sad.
It should have been far by now. I think by now we should be discussing very advanced issues of, like I said, the contemporary fiqh.
Right.
Get into the scholarship of what other communities, global communities
have
now
moved
doing.
on
They have moved on. I think maybe it would have been those opportunities that abantwana, they should have gotten those opportunities to go and study overseas and be exposed to so many ulum. And we are very happy because our imam in Soweto, particularly in Dlamini Mosque, he spent 14 years in Morocco.
Right.
And now he has just come back now from Morocco. And we are happy that we might have an opportunity to send the kids that side to be exposed, to this kind of a different environment.
Yeah.
Because what we have seen mostly that is a bigger challenge in South Africa, it's a moral fiber. That is why maybe we have the likes of MRM, which is useless also. He's not taking people anywhere, the moral regeneration movement. Because when you say moral is totally different from how they actually see it.
Right.
They say, no. Moral, it means drink, but don't drink too much. You don't have to get married, but have a girlfriend that you can introduce at home. Those are the kind of morals that are there, which is totally different from the
ethos of Islam.
The models of Islam,
Right.
But we are happy there are some of the people that are coming very closer to understanding what Islam is highlighting. There's a very good man that always highlights some of the plights that are there in South Africa, Advocate Ike Kumalo.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that he had actually seen what this thing of feminism, that is doing, the rainbow communities that are there. I won't go into that because I'll be actually,
cancelled,
ostracized and all of those things because of, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with anything for now.
Right.
But we are saying that once we have a proper discussion and things like that, he has been highlighting some of the issues that are ills of the societies and ills that he sees Islam as somehow solution to some of these ills that are there in the community. Would have loved to see that Islam growing in that sense and maybe going outside, because now we live in a global society. And maybe since we are there on this issue of the indigenous Muslims, I've always held the idea is in my head all of the time to say Islam is not growing, it is stagnant in South Africa, especially within the indigenous community. And I always would discuss myself and you to say we are a member of a bigger society, which is the indigenous community.
Right.
We may not see ourselves as that because of sometimes when you come in within the community of Muslims, you see yourself as that community. But once you go outside, you realize there's a reality. And that's the reality of saying that I belong to the greater majority of black people.
Yeah.
You know, when you see people in the squatter camp, when you see people in the rural areas,
Abantu bakithi.
Abantu bakithi
Yeah.
lapho. You know, so you can never ever be
You can't
without them.
pull yourself away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, there is an issue of saying that maybe we are criticizing the work that has been done, which we are highly praising it to say there is some work of dawah that is taking place. Is dawah done properly in South Africa? And is it growing amongst the black people?
Dawah is there. You know, to make people Muslim is an easy thing, but to keep them in Islam is a different story.
Oh yeah.
You know, to make a mashahada. We see them on mashahada.
Mashahada festival.
A mashahada festival or whatever. You know, we've seen a lot of those. And I always worry. I'll be honest. You know, I see people, you know, they tell you about, they say, a friend of yours, or you know him, Bani became Muslim. Because you know this person's outlook on life. And you wonder, I cannot be with him all the time, Mina.
Yes.
And try to navigate him through this Islam. Then you ask yourself, oh, like a sister, for example. You know, this one particular sister that you know, and Uzobati, you know, she has become Muslim. Then you ask, how is she going to, you know, land in this Islam?
Yes.
So the dawah is there. We cannot rule that out. I mean, there's a lot of effort that is being done. Different organizations use different methods. Yes. They are feeding people. Then abantu, you know, we might not like that method of just feeding people. Then of course they're gonna say it, you know, and because they're anticipating something next week.
Of course.
And there's people who stick around after those things. So one person becoming Muslim is a great thing.
Yeah.
You know, so we cannot say these things are not working at all. However, we need to have a more effective way of dawah. And I think, abantu abamnyama, they love uNkulunkulu.
Yes.
Bamthanda uNkulunkulu. Mawungabathola emakhoneni wabo, abafundisi nani, they love Allah, you know. However, we as Muslims, South Africans, who are part of this majority of indigenous, we are failing to somehow make them understand ukuthi Allah uye lo nkulunkulu enimthandayo.
Yes.
No, we are failing because njengoba usho sithanda Arabic.
Yes.
Sithanda Arabic, everything, you know, umuntu bambize bathi mfundisi wama Muslims sicela nasi stage please yenza umthandazo kancane.
Yes.
Ayishaye ngeArabic. Ba akekho umuntu omzwayo lapho. Ayishaya zacede. The rahmah of Allah of course descends. Yes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rahmah will come. Of course, whatever it is that you asked for will descend on them. But that was a very good opportunity ukuthi bakuze umdumisa uNkulunkulu yena lo abamdumisayo. You know, ukuthi after that babuzise bathi egatsheni thina besithi inkolo yenu nomunye uNkulunkulu. But because we never want to, I think Muslims sometimes feel like it's a compromise to say God instead of Allah, or ukuthi umvelinqangi instead of Allah, using the term Allah. They feel like it's a compromise. Yes. After that, you know, to say, I didn't call him. No, you Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, lahul asma'ul husna. And Masjid Asma'ul Husna. It's not just limited to Arabic.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? So we are failing in making people understand ukuthi uNkulunkulu yena lo enimkhonzayo uyu Allah.
Subhanallah.
We are failing decimally. And who's better to do that than us? No one. The Indian or the Arab or the Somalis, or they cannot do that job for us.
Yes.
You understand Christianity better than any mufti. Because labantu phila nabo yabazi. Egini bakhona. Ba nokuthi nje ngihlelo omunye sukuma ashumayele. Akhulume we don't agree fully, of course, with the things they say, but we understand our people better than anyone else. So it is us who are failing our community. I can't blame the Indians or the Arabs to do our job. That's our job. It's us who have to go emakasi and engage nama youth wamanye amasonto. Mabathi kune kudlawiliwe ibhola, you know, ama-Muslim akuna team yama-Muslim eyodlala nalabafana amasonto lawa ahlangene. There's no Muslim team that does that. Why? It's special asidlala ibhola thina, because we are taught we are unique. The other people are kuffar. Why
Even your
isn't
own
there a
family
team?
is referred
Yeah,
to
yeah,
as
of
kuffar.
course. Even your family, ungayi lapho, you know. So it is us who are failing our community. We can't blame anyone. I'm telling you, we need to be very innovative in the way that we do things. You would know that I did a series,
Yes.
umbhedesho,
Yes, Mpete.
where I looked at siyakudumisa Thixo,
Yes.
siyakuvuma kuba nguYehova.
Yes.
La ilaha illallah. If I had to tell you how many people who became Muslim just from listening to that thing,
Wow.
and how many people who started engaging with Islam on a
Yes.
positive note, because all this time there was just with Nabalabandu. Mandia, we are following her. But now, as soon as they started hearing this thing from their own context, by Mrs. Ndlebe, people became Muslim. They're pushing, they are, alhamdulillah, you know. And I'm not saying this to take any glory, but what I'm trying to say is, when I did that thing, I did it deliberately to make them understand we have certain differences with Christianity, but they're not to a point where they don't understand us, but we understand them. So we are the ones more placed to make sure with the dawa effective.
You know, I think we need more of this kind of discussions where we highlight some of the things. You know, there's a lady once when we were sitting in the boardroom as Muslims, and she was in charge of the preschools because she had very great experience in that preschool issues. So she was somehow a supervisor in that. So the sheikh started saying that, I know you are not a Muslim, but I just want to tell you that we as Muslims, we refer to the Creator as Allah, you know, and you must believe in Allah, you must do this, you know. He started highlighting this to her, somehow talking down to her to say, you know, the God that you know is not the same as Allah. And this lady then said to me in Sesotho, he said, I can't say it to him. I can't respond in English, but I can only say it better in Sesotho.
Yeah.
Please translate it to him and ask him, Uguti, so why do Muslims think, Uguti, they are the only ones that knows God? That it can only be Allah. So you think that we don't know who is God. So it hit me so hard to say, uNkulunkulu akusi uNkulunkulu wama-Muslim nje kuphela. You know, Allah akusi Allah Muslim nje
No,
kuphela.
it's for everyone.
So those are the kind of issues that needs to be brought down to our people, not because we want to change who they are. If ulandele emuva, you will hear the elderly people how they refer to umdalwezulu nomhlaba.
Yeah.
You know, they talk about umveli nqangi noma umveli qali, and they would speak about uSmakade, you know, Hayy ya Qayyum, uSmakade oyingcwele. You know, the Sothos would refer to him as Mudimu, Ramasedi,
Yes.
the bringer of light, the originator of the light, you know, Mwadi, you know, Mwali Wadenga, you know, and all of these beautiful attributes and names that our people refer to the Creator. So, actually, in danger, it just came about.
Yeah.
So it's just that people started highlighting it to further the goal of somehow promoting their own culture and heritage, and not understanding Guti, the Creator does not have a heritage and culture.
No, Allah is for everyone.
Allah is for everyone.
Allah is for everyone.
And this is what exactly we are highlighting at this year, while we are also highlighting the people that have experienced this and share it also with the greater community and the society of South Africa. I know we have touched on this issue, but maybe towards the closing, if maybe you could tell us about maybe the state of the Ummah on a local and maybe a broader scale, when you look at the state of the Ummah, particularly the black Muslim community in South Africa, just concentrate on that one for me. What are your reflections from your scholarship and maybe to your grassroots reality?
Yeah, that's a tough one because it has so many layers
Yes.
into it, you know. But it all boils down to leadership. Leadership, you can't do much without leadership. I'm telling you, you can do a lot of work. I mean, we're doing work in silos. You are doing work. I mean, this is beautiful work that you are doing here. It's not, don't take it for granted. We are in dhikr as we speak now. You know, this is something where when the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioned in whatever activity, that thing is blessed. You know, the name of Allah is but wherever the name of Allah is mentioned, it's great work. Indeed. But this work would have a greater impact if we did it together.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? This is the problem of the black community. And it goes back to the initial points that I mentioned earlier.
Yes.
Every community somehow or group of Muslims, bane boss who is not from the township.
Yeah.
The funders.
Yes.
Who are funding that group, funding that masjid, and I mean they also love this thing and they're doing it. Most of them are doing it sincerely from the bottom of their heart.
100%.
You know, they're very generous. You know, South Africa, and I say this all the time, we are blessed to have the Indian community. These people are very generous, which is why Allah keeps blessing them. And I say this all the time to the black community to say, and we were those people, but as soon as ngena Islam, asafunu keep next. I don't know, I'm a donation, asa keep next. Instead, we are beggars. You'll find a working class Muslim waiting for hampers.
SubhanAllah.
A working class. He's working, he's employed. He can afford.
Yes.
We are driver, we ain't lean. You know, we have that disease of black people not being generous. Naturally, we are generous people, but for some reason, masingena la glesonto leli.
That's spoiled.
Yeah, they become spoiled. They don't want to do anything. There's absolutely nothing that Muslims want to do. I mean, we have so many professionals. We have lawyers. We have accountants. But how many masjids have we built?
Yeah.
There's no madrasah in any township that I know of that's built by our own people. Accountants, a group of accountants who came together. It's not happening. So we need to really start funding our own things. And that, again, like I said, there needs to be some form of leadership. And because we are coming from systems like apartheid, and we are made with, we don't trust any leadership, not even our own.
Yes.
You know, ANC is not helping also with how they are doing things. So as soon as kuba nomuntu omnyama phambili, siyayidoubt into yakhona iba very, siba very skeptic.
Is it not because of the
it.
experiences that maybe we have around our people where they become very greedy? Somehow they don't
definitely. I mean,
they're not qualified
let's not shy away also from, one of the things, and I deal a lot with big funders that do things and have done things, and then sometimes when they tell you the stories of how much money they've poured into the community of black Muslims, but nothing came out of it.
Yeah.
Because uzbanban unyamalele.
Yes.
Akasatholakala, akaseze masjid. Or he bought himself a car.
Yes.
He built his own family a house, ngemali yama Muslim. So we have that also. So that it adds, of course, to this mistrust that we have. So when you tell people, let's donate, hey, ibanja ubani le mali.
Yes.
We want to be signatories nathi lapho because of this mistrust that. So to your point, yes, there are situations where kudliwe imali, which was supposed to be
Develop the
to
Muslims.
develop the Muslims.
Yes.
But and I mean, I see yithi kuphela. Now even organization, people have been raising funds. Poor, with the poor people, photos, siyazazi lezi zinto. Nani ngithanda ukusithatha ama-photo masidla sinivakashele kajeni. Nisithatha ama-photo masidla.
It's for our podcast.
Oh, it's for the podcast.
Yeah, it's for the podcast.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, as well as the archives to say you were part of us.
Okay.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, okay, no, I'll accept that one. But you know exactly what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
no, 100%.
You know.
I understand what you're saying, but you must understand also that Soweto Muslim Association is
No,
one of those...
I wasn't talking about.
No, I understand.
I'm just
I understand
talking
fully.
about- yeah.
But I think for the record, it's very important to say that Soweto Muslim Association is one of those associations that is not receiving any donations from any organization, Islamic organization that is there. Yes, we do have people that are giving generously,
Yes.
somehow for certain causes, for certain programs.
Yeah.
But we are not on that mainstream in where we are saying that we are receiving from this organization and that organization.
Yeah.
But we are working very hard with the greater society of South Africa. It will be naive for us not to work
With other people.
Islamic
No, definitely,
organizations. you know.
definitely,
So we are
definitely.
doing that. But also, you mentioned the issue of madrasah. Soweto Muslim Association has a madrasah that is an indigenous madrasah.
MashaAllah.
And we are very
MashaAllah.
happy that we have 4 of the teachers in our 4 classes that are 100% South Africans. You know, and this has been done for the first time. Normally, you would see that many of the madrasas, there is not people that are actually from the locals. So what we want to do, we want to bring about the heritage and the culture in where our children can relate to say, Lona ubaba, onkulisile in Islam.
Right.
And we are pushing for that so that it becomes the greater legacy that we might leave behind. We've seen a lot of things before. We don't want to go back to the ugliest history that might have been there.
Yeah.
But we want to forge an even better, a better future for Islam in South Africa amongst the black people or the indigenous people.
Yeah.
Or maybe South Africa at large. I would go to Africa as well. That is our main aim.
Yeah.
And maybe the objective going forward and the vision of Soweto Muslim Association.
I want to just maybe finish the point about
Yes.
I'm not saying nothing should be done because of lack of leadership.
Yes.
No, people should carry on. Soweto Muslim Association must carry on doing the work. We are doing work wherever we are,
Oh, yes.
and there's a lot of other communities that are doing, or individuals that are doing absolutely outstanding work. But my point was the impact of that work is nothing compared to if we had to collaborate.
Yes.
The collaboration is very
Correct.
very powerful, and again, this leadership issue, I want abamnyama bathanda leadership.
Yes.
So kuyoliwa, why ukatsheni? Which madrasah did you go to?
Yes.
All those things. And of course our community is siyagula. We are very sick, and I'm including myself in that because I'm part of this community. We need to heal. There's a lot of problems that we have as a
Fully
community
agreed.
that we need to acknowledge. The first step towards recovery is to acknowledge that it's in a problem.
Yes.
And then only then can we start saying, okay,
I
this
think
is
somehow
the
it
problem.
might not be the issue of Islam.
Yeah.
Islam is clean.
No, Islam
Now,
is very
it
clean.
might have been where we come from, that we need to heal from where we come from, so that when we come into Islam, Islam embraces us. But we don't embrace Islam.
We should not enforce ubuthina sibulahlele phakathi kwe-Islam. Islam is pure and clean, like you said, and Islam needs to be enhancing our journey of purification.
Correct.
Do you understand? It should be enhancing our tathira, what we are trying to but somehow, we enter the deen with expectations that what can Islam do for me instead of the other way around.
Yes.
What can I do for this deen? So yeah, but my point would be to say, let's put our money into this deen. It's burhan, like the hadith says, sadaqah is proof that we are called, you know.
Yes.
So I don't see a lot of that happening amongst the black people. Sistinji, I'm a Muslim. Khuluma ngama Muslim ke mina. I have friends. I mean, of course, this is a general statement. It doesn't apply to everyone.
Yes.
I have generous friends. I have
yes.
friends that
yes.
when we go out, we are fighting for the bill, you know,
Yes.
and it's from their own pocket. And that's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about the work for the deen itself, you know. As you would know, there's a project that I'm busy with. Bengithi ngifuna ukuyenzela emakhoneni, you know, but I got overwhelmed by my friends, the
Yes, the
close
response
friends.
that you
But
get.
the next,
Yes.
angekho yakho iyi-one le nto siyangena
yes.
la. Why nje naye let the bank account in, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So it becomes a very it's a very beautiful thing when there's that collaboration, you know. So we need to be very, very, very generous. And generosity, I don't know any poor man that's generous.
Yeah.
Angmazi.
Yeah.
It has never happened that you become generous, then Allah runs your pockets dry. So for this deen, if we are really serious about this dawah and this work, and stop waiting for a Mahdi to come from anywhere.
Yes.
And don't wait for the day that you become a millionaire also,
Yes.
that you start spending for the deen.
Oh, yes.
As soon as you have something, apportion it. Don't wait for the time where you have the nisab of zakat, that you think, okay, now I can start giving. No, you give. Kacheni mauzala to the studio, have a penny to give out.
Oh, yes.
You know,
Definitely.
yeah, and nalaba bema malostro,
Yes.
baafule, and give out. You know,
Yes. Yes, definitely.
it's I don't know any other solution that will enhance our deen, unfortunately, other than doing it ourselves.
We have been taught very well also through the system that we've been highlighting right from the beginning, that we will never achieve anything up until we are ready to sacrifice our wealth, our health, as well as our time.
Right.
For as long as we are not ready for that, then we should forget, because many nations, they have done that. And particularly the Indian Muslim community of South Africa, they have sacrificed a lot, by the way.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, there is a very few that I can not remember, those who have benefited immensely from the Indian communities. You can talk about those who have achieved a lot, those who have even gone to the universities.
Yes.
It was through the generosity
Definitely.
of the money of the Indian Muslims, as
Definitely.
well as organizations.
Definitely,
And I can
without any
talk
doubt.
till today, there is so many that are benefiting from that. And you would find that, anyway, by the way, since we are not the people that are known to be very generous,
Yeah.
you would find that there is actually zero that is contributed from our side.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
we do know some of the people that Allah has actually chosen amongst the black people,
Yeah,
black
who are
Muslims,
doing
that are giving fully.
Yeah,
But some of
100%.
them are not known,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
but they are
yeah.
giving a lot, you know.
No,
And maybe in the
definitely.
future we will see many institutions that are actually created and built by our very own, where we are moving away from being the
Dependency.
begging communities,
Yeah.
as well as now being those who are giving zakat and not the recipients of zakat.
Yeah.
Maybe in parting, what would be your vision and maybe advice moving forward for young Muslims as well as the scholars and communities, especially here in South Africa, on maybe also of the issue of unity, that we need to be united as the black community of Muslims?
You know, the matter of unity is a Quranic injunction. La tafarraqu. And we forget this ayah for some reason. When we are busy with all our quarrels, this ayah never seems to come up, which is why the Ummah is so fragmented. The unity of the Muslims is key to success. One thing that I don't like talking about myself much, as you would know, but one thing I pride myself with is the fact that I can go to any community, any. Something, I'm there and I'm at home because I'm with Muslims. I'm united with these people. I'll go to another masjid, I'll go to a tema, I'll go to wherever it is, because of فَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. I have differences with other people. And I know of people that have differences with how I push my agenda. But that is nothing compared to the injunction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when He says, you must be united. Do not be fragmented. Because fragmentation is weakness. Look at the global. At the moment, we are in a situation where our Muslim brothers in Gaza, they have no one. People are trying. I mean, again, the point that I was trying to highlight earlier. There's a lot of work, people sending money, organization, but all of that is in silos. But these big institutions or even neighboring countries who can make a very, 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 very big impact, they do absolutely nothing. They're doing nothing. Why? Because they're fragmented.
Yes.
Egypt cannot just can't go to Jordan and say, hey, let's sort this issue out. Jordan and Egypt, they can just squash this thing, but we know the politics there. They can, Oman, Saudi, and I mean, everything is happening. These people, you would swear that the people in Gaza are in another planet that we can't access. We have access to that, but because we are fragmented, we are not united as Muslims, because the ayah, فَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا, is not important to us. That's why we find ourselves in this particular state. And this, unfortunately, is at all levels, whether it's at the governmental level, continental level, and even like us. I'm a Muslim. We know, this donor and, this donor, that donor. When I see Kacheni with that particular donor, I need to go behind his back and speak evil of Kacheni and say he appears on TV. Do you know he appears on TV and TV is haram? And, just to... Or
he's a Shia.
Or he's a Shia. That's a common one.
If
they haven't said you are a Shia yet in South Africa, you're not important. You have not shaken the status. You have to be. It's an honor nowadays for a Sunni to be. That's how I look at it. A Sunni who's doing good work. A Sunni, and listen to me. I'm saying, for a Sunni that's doing good work. If he has not been called a Shia, then he has not shaken. Because when all slanders fail, the next thing, the last draw, this is the last draw. When they fail to discredit you, Kacheni, you are a Shia. You know, so...
I always say that there is one Maulana Desai of Majlis. He will always criticize many of the scholars in South Africa, and he would call some scholars bishop this, bishop that, But I say he has never actually touched on the issue of the indigenous Muslims of South Africa. And when they ask me why, I then say because he still regards us to be rivets. He says, no, they are trying shame men. One day they'll become proper Muslims, then we can talk about them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you, Imam, our Sheikh Sidi Abdulqadir Nkosi. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take you from stride to stride. May Allah give you success, a complete success in your endeavors.
Amen.
We are very happy that we had you after a lot of effort that was actually done.
After a cat and mouse, right?
We are very happy with the work that you have done, and we are happy for you as our brother in Islam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you so much. As we have heard from our greatest guest here, our Sheikh Sidi very own, Wala Mzansi in Africa, our Sidi Sheikh Abdulqadir Mandla Nkosi, who was the Amir of Tshwane, as well as he has served in many other fields, as we have heard. And he has highlighted a very beautiful verse of the Quran, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Hold on to the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do not be divided. As the Ummah right now, we need unity. Unity is not an option. It is a farad. It is compulsory. It is what will make us a unity, as it is described or prescribed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is another episode, as well as we close down the episode of Soweto Muslim Association. Continue to check us on our social media spaces. On Instagram, we are there. On Facebook, we are there. We are also there on TikTok. Please continue to subscribe with us and give beautiful comments. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also reward all of you that are our well-wishers as Soweto Muslim Association. Until we meet again in another exciting episode, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
سبحان الله